Hello everyone, it's Shadow the Rat, and in this video we're going to be discussing why rats should live in pairs or groups. Now before I begin, I do want to note that yes, in some extreme cases rats will need to live on their own. Very sick rats who need constant care or rat-aggressive rats are just two examples of cases in which a rat must be housed solo. However, especially in the case of aggression, it's always better to try everything first before deciding that you're going to keep your rat solo. For example, in the case of a male rat who's aggressive towards other rats, you may want to try neutering them. Or if you are having a little bit of a difficult time introducing new rats, it's a good idea to take a step back, try to go at a slower pace, or maybe do multiple small introductions to see if you can make it work a different way. What you really need to remember is that solo rats should be the exception and not the rule. Rats are naturally very social creatures, and in the wild they live in large groups called mischiefs. This social behavior is exactly what makes them such great pets, as just like other social animals like dogs, they naturally want to bond and interact. That being said, no matter how much time you spend with your rat, you can never replace another rat. No matter how hard you try, you'll never be able to read and respond to their body cues, and we can't even hear the majority of rat vocalizations, so responding to them is impossible. You also can't snuggle up with your rat in their hammock, and having your rat with you at all times just isn't feasible. Since rats are prey animals, they don't often display signs of things like depression or loneliness openly. However, just because your rat seems happy and excited when you're around does not mean that they're happy when they're inside the cage alone. Starving a rat of another rat's companionship just because you want a better bond is cruel, and besides, rat bonds just don't work that way. If you have a friendly and sociable rat, then they're going to behave that way regardless of other rat companionship. The only difference is that if they have other rat friends, they'll most likely be happier when you aren't interacting with them. And if you have a shy rat, they'll benefit even more from ratty friends. Rats copy each other, and if a shy or aggressive rat sees that their cage mates are interacting nicely and safely with their human caretakers, they're likely to emulate this behavior somewhat. A great example here would be my own rats Cookie, Cream, and Blackberry. Blackberry came to me an aggressive handbiter, but with some hard work from me and the good example of her cage mates, she ended up coming around. But one amazing thing I noticed was that even back when she bit, if I was giving treats to her and her cage mates, she would take them gently without biting. I truly believe her gentle cage mate's behavior towards me really helped teach her to interact in a more positive manner, something which would have been much more difficult to learn without her fellow rats' examples. And as for my Cookie and Cream, both girls came to me terrified of people. But after just one meeting with my older tame girls, they changed completely. They went from cowering and hiding in their cage one second to exploring my hands the next, and it was all due to my older girls' good influence. As for those people who only want one rat because they fear that having multiple rats will result in rat fights, while that's a valid concern, it's also not a good reason to have a solo rat. Like any animal, rats can fight, but this is again the exception and not the norm. Bonded rats do mock fight and play on a daily basis, but these behaviors are not dangerous and the rats won't actually hurt each other. Now there is always a small chance that intact males will develop hormonal rat aggression as they get older, but this can be solved with a neuter and is not a reason to house them alone. Now that you've watched this video and seen some examples of rats enjoying each other's company, I hope you have a better grasp of why keeping multiple rats is usually the best option. That being said, getting a new rat and throwing them into your old rat's cage is never a good idea. Doing this is a great way to get rats seriously hurt or even killed, as rats are territorial animals and don't take well to strange rats in their territory. Instead, when introducing a new rat, it's always recommended to do it in a neutral area or to do it in a neutral cage. You also need to go at your rat's pace and not rush things. I recommend searching up the carrier method and neutral territory method of introducing new rats and then following the one that works best for you. That's all I have for you today, and I hope you found this video useful. If you would like more rat training or rat care tips, feel free to visit my website at www.rattricks.weebly.com, link in the description. Other than that, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I hope to see you next time. Bye!